Welcome to a one-off little end of summer, early autumn special of the podcast. We haven't recorded all summer, so we just thought we'd all get together and have a chat, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah.
Yes, Gary.
Yes, we did, and you know, because I don't know about you guys,
the enthusiasm levels are off the scale, aren't they?
Already, it's great already. I don't know about you guys, but I've been getting messages every time I put a video out. I'll get sort of X number of comments, and about 20% of them are, "When's the podcast coming back? Are you doing a podcast this year?"
That's quite nice, isn't it? That's quite nice.
Not really. I thought they'd be concentrating on my video rather than.
Yeah, but we've got an announcement. That's why we're back now, isn't it? Really. So that's why we're.
So with that, so basically we're coming back the second week in October. And what we're going to do is we've decided that we're going to split the podcast into 2 episodes per week. So, because I mean, Jamie will attest to this, because you were sort of saying it was getting the format was getting a bit tired, wasn't it, Jamie?
Yeah, I think so. Well, God, how long have we been doing this? How many years? Well, since COVID, wasn't it? So like 5 years or so. It's been done, and we go through and we recycle the same topics many times, and we probably said the same thing so many times as well, and it just started to feel a bit tired. We all got to the point where we were scratching around for topics. We were asking everybody for ideas, which we had a good set of ideas back. But yeah, I just thought maybe it was time for a little bit of a refresh. Whether it will work out or not, we'll wait and see. But it's worth a try.
Yeah, so what we've decided on is we're going to do 2 episodes per week. We're going to just record once. We're going to do 2 episodes. One that's going to be purely focused on photography, and the other one that's then going to be a lot more general sort of chat and banter and what have you. So the photography one is going to have some news items in it. We're going to react to what's going on in the, maybe with gear or trends, or if something big's happened. And then a little bit about photography itself. So maybe looking at one of you guys, some of your work, critiquing that if you want to, or showing some of our own stuff. And then the final section, we'll have a little Q&A. So if you've got any questions for us, or if there are any burning issues that we want to talk about, we'll do it in that. And then the second part, which will be released later on in the week, well, that's still up in the air, but it's just going to be, I think it's just going to be a chat, isn't it, really?
Just the same old nonsense, isn't it? That we normally do.
Really. Yeah, what we've been up to, bit of a whinge, bit of fun. But again, I think what we'll do is we'll probably throw that open to some questions from you guys about anything. So whereas we've always asked you questions in the past, and they've kind of generally tend to have been photography related, what we're going to do is say, like, just ask us anything about anything. And we'll if we like it, then we'll have a debate about it and a chat about it. So that's the plan for the new season, which, like I said, is going to be the second week in October, which is when it's going to start.
I think as well, then I think if you come up with that idea, Gail, and I think so if some people just want to watch us purely for the photography, then they know that that's going to be on a what day is that?
That'll probably be on a Sunday.
On a Sunday,
as always.
And then if you just want something to listen to in the background while you're doing something far more important, then you can listen in on a Wednesday while we just talk a load of old nothing.
So, yeah, exactly. So if you enjoy listening to our drivel, then great. And if you don't, then you've still got Stuart and Dave and Adam's take on, and Sam's take on photography. And with
well, you say we've got no opinions on other stuff. Is this what you?
No. What I'm saying is you guys are the experts on that part, but the other 3 of us sort of like just really here for
eye candy.
Eye candy, exactly. Yeah,
that's what we're here for.
Yeah, exactly. And then when it gets to the inane shit, that's where we come in. It just works well, doesn't it? So yeah, so there you go. That's what we're going to do. Anyway, let's move on. We're just going to do what have we been up to over the spring and summer. So let's start with Dave. What have you been up to over the spring and summer?
Let's get the short one out of the way. Yeah. Well, as some of you will know, the lovely Mrs. G's been quite poorly, and she's now properly on the mend, so that's good. I haven't made a video since last October. So it's coming up 10 months. So I've sort of taken it as my gap year, and I'm now just about to start doing that again. But I haven't really been doing a lot. I've got a very busy few months coming up because I've got a trip to the US. I've got weekends away in the van doing photography in the UK planned with other people. And then I've got a workshop with a particularly difficult workshop leader in Lofoten in March. Not looking forward to that, really, if I'm honest, because I'm going to get critiqued. But yeah, it's been a very quiet spring and summer, lots of time at home. Although the last 6 weeks, we sort of school holiday time, we tend to just string some barbed wire across the top of the lane and don't venture out because the island is awash with trippers. But it's been particularly bad this year. They actually, in several occasions, have shut the forest at Newborough because Muppets were lighting bonfires in the forest while it was bone dry. And of course, the poor NRW wardens pop down and say, "Would you mind awfully not having a fire?" And they get a gobful from the tiki-tockers.
It's probably recorded as well, isn't it? Like recorded so they can, so they can make more money.
Reaction.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my summer.
Okay. Jamie, what about you?
Not too much. Nothing really photography based at all, if I'm honest. I've probably managed a little bit in spring and one shootout.
Sorry.
Somebody at the door.
Someone's at the door, yeah.
Don't worry, the butler will get it.
I had a day out in Norfolk, but that was it in terms of photography. I've been doing a bit of travelling though, with holiday-wise, sort of just social rather than taking the camera. So I had a beautiful trip to Mauritius early in May. So we went for a long haul anniversary celebration in Mauritius, which was absolutely stunning, gorgeous place, typical tropical island type scenes, palm trees, sandy beaches, and all that. And yeah, absolutely stunning. The 12-hour flight was a struggle, I must admit. Sitting in the seat, I made the rookie error. And I'm not a long haul flight. I don't do long hauls. And of course, with your normal setup of a plane where you've got 3 and then 3 in the middle and then 3 on the other side. The trick is, of course, if you're on a long haul, is to get the aisle seat so you can get up to the loo and stretch your legs and stuff. And now, I wanted the window seat. Then I wanted to view out the window. So I was in the window seat. Leslie was next to me. And of course, the guy who in the aisle seat just fell asleep. And, feel so guilty about waking him up to get out and have a stretch your legs or go to the toilet and the rest of it. So, I need to learn from that mistake next time if I go away. So the flight wasn't good, but the island is a beautiful place. If anybody's ever been, it's stunning. There's elements to it that are really poor. So if you get out off the beaten track, there's a lot of poverty there. But the actual tourist areas are typical Instagrammable places that I'm sure, as Dave says, a lot of the tiki-tockers go to as well.
I've been to Mauritius, and what I noticed there was that a lot of the people that were holidaying in the same places as us were South Africans, and they couldn't have been ruder if they tried. That was a downside for me. In fact, I was there with my dad. He nearly got into a punch up with one.
I didn't encounter that. No, there's a lot of obviously Africans there because it's not far from the mainland, is it? But I didn't encounter that, mate. So they're pretty good. And then we had a trip then with all of us to Lake Como in Italy, and that was equally stunning on a sort of different level, really.
My daughter went there. Amazing place. Oh, so jealous.
Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, we got an Airbnb right in the sort of centre of the lake, so we had the ability to jump on and off the boats. Yeah, that was a bit. Yeah, we were right on an island. Yeah, little tiny B&B. I got my money back at the end because it was crap, but. No, it was a beautiful place. We had the boats that you could just jump up and down and travel the island. Absolutely stunning. Photography wise, I took my camera, but it wasn't a photography trip. But beautiful scenes, absolutely stunning with the mountains and the lake. And it's a very, I would class it as a more upper class place than a typical tourist. A lot of the people are really well dressed, and the restaurants are very chic feeling. So you feel as though you're in a bit of a special place rather than just another tourist. That was really good.
Did you have a pool? Did you have a pool?
We had a shared pool.
Did you go in the pool?
Yeah, we did. I did.
Did you have to wear swim caps?
No.
How weird.
Why?
Well, because my daughter went and they wouldn't let her in the pool without swim caps. And they said every Italian resort makes you wear swim caps in the pool. She's been had, hasn't she? She's been had.
Okay. That wasn't on the list.
She'll be delighted to find
they
that.
They probably didn't like her haircut.
Probably. Mind you, she sheds so much hair, it's unbelievable. Anyway, sorry, carry on. Sorry.
No, well, that was it. And I've got another holiday planned at the end of next week. So, 3 holidays this year, so I'm lucky. But it's my last full year in hopefully last full year in full-time employment, if my retirement plans go to the way that they're heading. So it was a push of as much travel as I could this year while I'm getting paid for it. So,
can we have a countdown timer, please, Jamie, to when you're retiring?
Oh.
There you go.
330 days, 55, 22. It looked like 55 I was reading there. 22 hours, 32 minutes and 42 seconds.
Nice. Not long now.
Yeah. Indeed.
Nice one.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Okay. Yeah. Stu, what about you? What have you been up to other than golf? No, you can still mention golf.
Not a lot else. But I'll tell you what, though, it's been as photographers, we're always moaning about, well, I am anyway, moaning about climate change because it is a real thing and it does affect landscape photography. But I tell you what, it's bloody great for golf because honestly, as far as like conditions go for playing golf, I can't think of one round of golf I've played this year where it's like poured down or been blowing again. It's been absolutely brilliant for golf. So yeah, climate change is a good thing sometimes. Played a lot of golf. I can't remember the last time we did a podcast. I was at Anfield for when we won the league against Spurs, videoed it all and everything. Yeah. And I tried to sort of film a lot of the day. I actually I've bought a little pocket Canon camera, would you believe? And I filmed most of it on the day, just sort of bits and bobs, like grabs of stuff, like little moments. Because I thought I never take pictures at the football because, I've been going there since day dot. But I thought if it goes well today, I want to film it. So I'll probably put something up on YouTube, actually, just of that. It doesn't obviously fit in with anything I do on the channel, but it would be nice to put it on there anyway. So I filmed all of that. Had a good day at the football, obviously. Played golf. I've tried to fit in photography where I could. I've maybe done 2 or 3 videos, I think. It's not been a great. I don't know about you guys. I'm probably straying off topic a little bit, but the heather this August, I don't think has been very good. It certainly hasn't been very good up here, so I haven't done as much photography shooting the heather as I'd planned.
I think it's so dry, isn't it?
I think it is, yeah. I think it's just, but that goes back to what I'm saying about the nice weather. It's no good for stuff like that. So it's not been very good heather season up here, to be honest. So, but it's been another really sort of busy summer in the gallery. So, starting to come to the end of that now, thankfully, and a bit more time for photography.
How did you find your, was it 2 or 3 weeks where you had that convention in town that killed all the trade? How was that?
It's horrendous. Honestly, it's horrendous. I won't bore everyone with it, but it just kills trade in the town for every single business, and it's going to get worse next year as well because the people who organised this thing, they had like an unspoken rule with the local council that they would do 1 week of the 3 outside the school holidays, and then the first 2 would be first 2 weeks of the school holidays would be in it. Next year, all 3 weeks are going to be inside the school holidays. So it's just like for nearly a month, all the trade in the town just grinds to a halt. It's scandalous, to be honest. I don't know how they get away with it.
What convention is this?
So there's a big Christian convention that's been going in Keswick for. It's quite a historic thing. It goes back like decades and decades and decades. But in like modern times, it's grown into this huge. A lot of people obviously won't know about it, especially people who do photography, because most people come to the lakes for photography outside of summer. But every year there's a Christian convention that goes on for 3 weeks, and it's right at the start of the school holidays, which is obviously a really busy period for trade in the town because it's a tourist town. So really the sort of tourist season in terms of trade doesn't really get going until almost August. And by then you're nearly halfway through the school holidays. So there's a lot of local pushback against it from local businesses. Obviously, because the pubs especially I feel sorry for, because without wanting to like overgeneralize, these people that come to the Christian convention, they don't drink. So all the pubs just absolutely get hammered for 3 weeks because no one's going to the pubs. And at the minute, there's no real end in sight for it for businesses because the people who run this convention, it's backed by really wealthy people and it's basically self-sufficient. They don't God, of course, God on the side. But yeah, it's just this bizarre situation every year where for 3 weeks all the town trade grinds to a halt. Everyone kind of looks at each other and goes, "Well, what do we do?" And there's nothing we can do because the way this convention's set up, it's based on the edge of the town. All the people who visit it come and take up all the accommodations, so other tourists can't come and stay, and then they just bugger off to the convention all day and then go home at the end of the day, and then the town's a bit of a ghost town in between. So it's a bit of a weird one anyway, but yeah, not good.
Yeah. So I will say one thing before we move on to you two guys asking golf. Yeah, you're saying it's great conditions for golf.
Yeah.
It's so dry, right? And now I've been playing golf recently badly, right? Very, very badly. Not VR golf, like real golf. But where I play or where I played, there's this one particular hole that's like that uphill for like 200 or 150, 180 yards uphill. The ball just rolls back down.
Yeah,
so literally, it's that the ground is that hard and dry. Yeah. I took about 8 shots to get up there, and then I'm knackered by the time I get up the top. It's just a stupid game. Anyway, Daz, what about you? How's your summer been?
Yeah, it's been really busy actually.
Have you had your bollocks felt?
Funny you asked that, Dave. Yeah, so this summer, I've become a granddad again for the second time. That's the highlight of the summer. Sold the motorhome after 11 years.
Oh, congratulations!
Which was a big deal actually. But you know what? We've had no pangs of regret. You know, we had 11 fantastic years in that thing. You know, we went to France, Switzerland, Germany. I think we went only through Austria, but we holidays, you know, kind of on the continent for a good, I don't know, probably about 8 weeks, I suppose, in the thing. Not all at the same time, but over different years. We've had obviously a month away at a time in the Lake District and countless trips to the lakes, Snowdonia, Bath, Oxford, you know, all over the place. We've loved that van. Obviously Norfolk as well, but you know, when you just know that it's kind of come to the end of that chapter, because we now want to do different things now. So we decided that it still held kind of quite a lot of value, but before things started to like seriously go wrong with it, that it was time to sell. So yeah, we sold that. We went to the lakes for 2 weeks in May, and then literally we got back from the lakes on a Thursday, cleaned it on the Friday, put it up for sale Friday night, and it was sold by the Sunday. So it went really, really quick. What else have we been up to? Yeah, I bought a new van for work. Work itself at the moment has been absolutely hectic, like seriously busy. But when we was in the lakes for them 2 weeks in May, like Stuart was just saying, you know, like we did a lot of hiking. We had the first week that we was there, it was lovely because we had the whole family with us and some extended family. So there was 12 of us on the first week, and all we did was kind of hike and round the shops and round the lakes, and then the second week, me and Helen had a slower pace week, but again, lots of walking, not quite as high fells. but no photography. It was blue sky. It was 2 weeks of blue sky. So I've really not been out with a camera properly since Norway with Stuart back in February this year. I've got some photos. Like I went on a hike with my son about 4 weeks ago, and I've got some snapshots from that, but nothing that I would say where you go out purposefully and you wait for the light and all of this kind of stuff. I mean, nothing in anger since Feb.
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna come to you in a second, Sam. But do you think maybe we should rename this the Pubcast? Because there's very little photography goes on.
Well, it is the summer though, isn't it? So I think we've all got a genuine excuse to put the camera away during these months. But
Sam, what have you been up to?
Yeah, well, for a bit of contrast, I haven't done any photography since we last had a.
Have you not?
Well, no, actually, no, I have. So I think just after we recorded the last episode, I went to Harris for a long weekend, and that was probably the last time when, as Daz was saying, I was out sort of in anger. That's not the right expression. I was out sort of properly focusing on photography, and that was the last kind of designated photography trip, and it was really good as well. The weather wasn't great, but that just made it better. So I think the weekend we chose was sunny either side, and then just over that weekend there was just this rain cloud just came over the Isle of Harris, and the rest of the UK was sunny. And my family was saying, well, what are you going out there for that weekend? And I said, oh no, that's good, because that's better for photography. And it was we had a couple of wet days on Harris, and we absolutely loved it. It was great. But yeah, same as all the other guys, really. I've been using the last however many months it is just to have a bit of a break from photography, and I actually think that's a healthy thing to do sometimes, because I know a lot of people disagree with the whole not doing photography in summer thing, but personally I prefer doing it that way, because it means that when I get back into it at the autumn, I'm kind of raring to go. I'm really looking forward to getting out with the camera, just at the time when conditions are getting good again. So I've been out. I've done a few hikes and things up here in Scotland. The midges and clegs and things this year have been awful, which I think they are all every summer pretty much. But this summer in particular, it's just every time I've gone out for a hike, it's kind of been spoiled by just being covered in midges. And there was one weekend I was out in Torridon, and the clegs were really, really bad. I don't think I've seen clegs quite so bad.
What's a cleg?
Yeah, they're horseflies.
Yeah.
Okay. And they were a bit of a nightmare. So every time I stopped,
it's not people from Yorkshire, Gaz.
I took the camera with me, but every time you'd stop, or even just to stop and have a drink or sit and have a rest, you'd just be plagued with these things. So yeah, so I've complained here before about summer in Scotland, so I won't do it again. But it is real, it is. I don't really understand why people come and do the NC 500 camping trip in the summer, because you're going to get midges and you're going to get clegs. So yeah,
I would say a much better time to go to Scotland would be around about January, late January.
Definitely. I mean,
in fact, I would argue.
Completely agree. So
yeah.
But sorry, just before we perhaps even mention January, I got to agree with you there, Sam, because I remember I was in Snowdonia once, and I was going to wild camp, and I packed everything up, and as soon as I stopped, the midges was on me. And it's so uncomfortable, because then I was carrying so much weight on my back, that all it was beautiful. It was such, I can't actually remember where I was heading on this particular hike. It was so long ago, but in them days when you just think, I just want to take the backpack off, I want to sit down, I want to admire the landscape, admire the view, and the minute you stopped, they was on you, so you'd have to kind of keep going again, to get rid of them. And you think, I'll set the camera up. As soon as you set the camera up, they was on you. They're horrible little buggers. And I know Scotland's a hell of a lot worse, than down here.
Yeah. There was I was going to say, I don't know if any of you follow James Roddy. He's a wildlife photographer, but he shared a short video on Instagram earlier this year that showed just how bad the midges were. But he's got a clip. He was camping, and he's got this clip of the inside of his tent. This is inside the fly sheet, and there's just like a puddle of midges just by his door. It's horrendous.
Sounds joyous.
I remember a video you did though, Sam, where you were absolutely covered with them. You were down the side of a lock, weren't you?
Yeah, that was over
my
by.
God, I couldn't watch that for scratching. It was just horrible to watch.
Yeah, that was grim.
I'm just wondering, if you went out on a particularly foggy morning and you were attacked by a lot of clegs, would you be able to get compo from your insurance?
Wow. Terrible.
They'd be driving you batty.
Oh, nice.
Very good. Very good. But you wouldn't want to whine.
That's the last of that.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to whine. So my summer has,
that's another one. You didn't even realise then. You went from wine to summer.
I know. Yes, I did, didn't I? Yeah. Yeah, my summer could be my last summer. Who knows? Keep eating like I do. My summer, I've been doing nothing but photography. Genuinely, I've been out every week.
Right, what's the next topic?
Yeah. No, I haven't been out at all. I was waiting for one of you to say, have you? No, I've hardly been out at all. I've been, I've had a really bad shoulder. Like a really, really bad shoulder. I don't know. I think it was about when we were doing the podcast. I said I'd hurt it playing VR golf.
I was going to say VR
golf. Like literally, it literally took me, it still hurts now, but I think this was about April time. It was sort of getting a bit better. And I was in bed and I had this dream, because I have night terrors. I had this night terror that a clothes area was falling on me. So I leapt out of bed, like put all my weight through my arm, thinking, no one wants clothes area falling on them, do they? And literally my arm my shoulder just went, and I couldn't lift. I couldn't, like that. You can lift it. I couldn't lift it. I couldn't even lift it an inch. So I had to drive like one-handed, and God, it was awful for ages. But it's sort of slowly getting better now. So yeah, that was a bit of a.
Who has a night terror about clothes area falling? Yeah, I can imagine somebody standing with a knife or with an axe or a witch or something. But
you can imagine like a therapy group, and people say, "Oh, when I was in Afghanistan," and then Gary there, the clothes era, that was coming for me. I'll still wake up tonight and
in Afghanistan.
Last night,
the VR golf was just horrendous.
Last night I dreamt I was falling out of bed whilst in bed, and I was scrabbling around in the bed because I thought I was falling out of bed, but I wasn't falling out of bed.
Yeah, I've had a few moments like that. I think mine were chemical induced.
There was a guy at work the other day. He talks kind of very slow, very soft, and he was just telling this story, and he said, "Oh, I've got a really big bed at home," and he said, I woke up the other night and I just thought, oh my. He said, my bed's got really small. He said, and I realised I was in the dog's bed and the dog had got into my bed. I don't know if there was some alcohol involved there. I'm not too sure. But I just didn't know where he was going with this story until right to the very end when, he woke up in the dog's bed. So...
Oh my God. So I had a bad shoulder, and then I've been to a lot of concerts this year. That's been my summer, really. Summer of concerts. I went to Simple Minds, which was all right. I got a free ticket for that. That was all right. Human League, which was okay. Thompson Twins, the guy from Thompson Twins Sport, that's quite good. Supergrass was very good. I got COVID at Manic Street Preachers, so that wasn't quite so good. But Oasis was amazing. And like I said to you the other week when we were chatting, they have killed my gig experience now, because wherever I go, it's never going to be as good as that, ever. Impossible to be as good as that. So, but yeah, So, but very little photography. So moving on, we were all genuinely saying, weren't we, that none of us are taking photos or haven't been out much to take photos. So this leads on to the next question that we've sort of all come up with, really, which is, where's everybody gone? Where's all the photography vloggers gone, and where's all the photographers gone? It seems to be as they all seem to have disappeared. Do we agree on that?
To be honest with you, I don't. There's only literally I've whittled my kind of landscape photography or photography in general kind of viewing down now to maybe half a dozen people, and I don't watch them religiously, so I wouldn't know about all the rest. Are we talking kind of vloggers that was on our kind of level, that kind of subscribers or bigger?
I just think if you do a search, if I did a search, I wish I had some evidence of this, but it's really hard to get figures out of YouTube. But I think if I did a search 5 years ago, if I did landscape photography and then videos this week, let's say filtered it by this week, there would be maybe 150, 100. And now it feels like there's so fewer. There's so many fewer people putting videos out. I mean, there's still people who are religiously putting stuff out, but it just feels like in general, it seems the bubbles burst, and there's so many fewer photography vloggers out there, but also photographers who are posting their work on, on say X or that for me, that seems to have died as well a little bit. So
see, I've come off of X altogether, so I wouldn't know about X. I've just got rid of that completely.
We've talked about this before, though, haven't we? About the lack of or how hard it is, I suppose, for vloggers to now come onto YouTube and gain any level of attention and subscription views because the whole market was saturated. And I think there's, look at the six of us. We're all vloggers or have done in the past, and some of us are still doing it, and many of us aren't. And that sort of audience and that tier of what were the legacy mainstreamers, we're not putting as much out, and there's plenty of others probably in the same position as us. I think the big ones are still there, aren't they? Thomas is putting them out regularly, Danson is, Mads is, all of those guys are putting them out regularly.
Some of them are, but
okay, maybe not all of them, but some of them are. I think some of the legacy mainstreamers are.
Yeah. I don't feel like I've seen as many from Nigel Danson recently, or say Adam Carnach, or I don't feel like I mean, that might just be me not looking, but I don't feel like they're when I've got YouTube there, like I've got landscape photography. I search reasonably often for it. I don't see those big names as much, or some of them, and certainly a lot of the middle names. I don't see them at all nowadays. I hardly see anyone who.
Well, do you know what?
When it was prolific.
Because we are going to Scotland next January, I searched for, just on YouTube. Normally that's when I watch photography channels if I've actually got something that I want to research or just get excited about and things like that. So what I did watch actually was one of Gavin Hardcastle's videos in Scotland, and it was quite good actually because with Gavin's channel, it's not all about the photography, is it? It's quite funny. There's little skits, and especially with his stepdad Roy and all this, and they are quite funny. So then I watched another one of his because obviously once you kind of get onto the wormhole, they keep feeding you the same videos. And I think it was Gavin's last one, or it was certainly the last video that I watched of Gavin's. But he was actually talking about kind of what else can he do, and you could tell it was heartfelt because he was saying, I can't do this forever. He said in the video, I've got no pension, and I have to put these videos out. And quite frankly, I've binned quite a few videos. I go out, and it's not like another genre or another topic perhaps under studio conditions, because if he goes out and the light just doesn't play ball or the photo turns out rubbish, he's pretty much wasted a whole video. So he was talking about, almost like, what do I do in the future? It's worth a watch, actually, because it wasn't very long. This section, but you could tell that even he was struggling, and he regularly gets, what is it, I don't know, 40, 50, 60,000 views a video. So yeah.
Can I just say though, yeah. I don't. I mean, I think you're right. It is like on here, but I don't think it's limited to YouTube. I think it's a lot of little things that over time are resulting in just a general kind of downturn in landscape photography as a whole, as a genre. I think there's less people interested in it. Look at, I think a bit, certainly in the UK, I think there's been a real sort of breakdown in like communities in landscape photography. If you go back a few years, there was regular interaction on places like Twitter and even Instagram and places like that. All these platforms that were set up for photographers to communicate with each other, they're so far away from that now. And it's been going like that for a while, but I don't know where you would go now to look at other people's work anymore, really. Because I mean, Blue Sky got a little bit of traction, didn't it? But I've been posting on there, and even there seems to be down now. I don't know where photographers go anymore to show their work or talk to other photographers. Everyone's like their own little island now, whereas it never used to be like that.
I mean, the Facebook groups are still there, like Dave's group, Thumbs Up, Photo Peeps. They're still there, and they're quite active, aren't they? They're still. I mean, I'm a member of those, and they're still quite active. But I just feel like
they're not. Yeah. The thing is with those, while they are very good, obviously, and the ones that do work obviously are great, but there's still an element of you've got to go and find it. You've got to then make a choice to join that group and then get it. Do you know what I mean? There's the kind of organic nature of just going on, posting a picture, going and finding someone else's picture and going from there. That totally seems to be lost now. Do you know what I mean?
Is that because people are posting less pictures? Or is that because the algorithms like moved on to other things? So like for X, for instance, is that now because Elon Musk has moved that algorithm into another direction? So some of the stuff that people are posting gets lost because that's not the narrative they want to push. I don't know.
I think that it's worth considering though, back in our day, which is 5-6 years ago, maybe, there weren't really much in the way of shorts. That's had a big influence, and it doesn't lend itself at all to the sort of thing that we do, because where I have seen sort of photography household names attempting shorts, they're absolutely cringy. So that clearly isn't working very well. But I also think that there's sort of an what's the word I'm looking for? Inadvertent backlash, because we sat around here in the last 2 or 3 years and said, the social media's awash with pictures. We're getting fed up with it. We're getting jaded by it. And I think that people have sort of picked up on that and sort of aren't bothering so much. But in the case where people have to go and hunt for photography groups or, need to look, on the plus side of that, when they do discover it, you get more engagement because they were specifically looking for it. They're not being force-fed rubbish to the extent that they were in the past. So, it swings and roundabouts, I think.
Yeah, maybe it's not a bad thing. I don't know. Maybe it isn't a bad thing. So maybe the fewer people you have, the more quality will remain, because the people will pick up on that and they'll watch that. So, Sam, have you got a thought on it?
Yeah, I've got a few thoughts. I mean, one of my thoughts was, whether it's just that photographers putting content out on YouTube has decreased, or whether it's people watching the content has also decreased. But one of the thoughts that was occurring to me just then was, I think that, and I should probably caveat this by saying that I tend not to go on social media at all much these days, so I've got no real idea of what's going on out there. I definitely don't use X. I don't use Blue Sky, or I haven't even logged onto my Instagram for months now. And I don't watch a lot of photography on YouTube, very similar to Daz. There's only probably a few channels that I dip into every now and again, but I don't watch a lot. But I think one of the things I wonder is whether it's just reached that point where everything has been covered and everything's been seen. Well, whether that's particular compositions which were very popular on Instagram 10 years ago or so are now so overdone that everyone knows them, and people have got a short attention span. And I feel like there's a big sort of blow up on Instagram a little while ago, everyone wanting to go out and take the Instagram shot in Iceland or whatever big honeypot location it was, because that was what was popular. But now everyone's seen all those shots and things have moved on, and now those people who are doing that are now moving on to creating TikTok shorts or whatever it is. But the photographers are still there and doing it, but maybe they're not doing it so much on social media. I mean,
I think you're right. Yeah,
I think I'm just speaking for my own thing. I do photography, but I don't share much of my work. When it comes to YouTube videos, I feel like there was a bubble a few years ago where everyone was trying to put out content regularly because they were wanting to grow their channels and get a following. And now that's died. And the only people still doing that are those who have established channels and have to keep feeding the machine. So those of the successful YouTube photographers who have to earn a living from it. So they're still out there churning out the content. There's a lot of, guys like us who just do it for fun. We're not trying to earn a living from it, at least not from the YouTube videos. We do a video when we feel like it. That might be once a year. It might be once, a few times in the autumn and spring, like me. I mean, you take a break for 6 months and we're not worried about it, but we're not putting the content out there because we're not trying to feed the machine. And then because we're not putting it out there, it's less visible. So maybe, we are still there. We just might not be putting things out as regularly. But when you go in as a casual punter on YouTube and type things in, that content's not going to come up because we're not regular creators. But we're still there in the background. We're still there doing stuff. It's just that the bubble has burst now for people putting lots of stuff out regularly, and it's moved on, and different generations are now doing different types of content.
It'd be interesting to know what the motivating factor was for most people when they first, or when they were more prolific on YouTube. So what motivated you to go out and actually put those videos out, and what's now motivating you, or what's the demotivating factor that's made you stop? Because mine was never to build a following as such. Mine was really the enjoyment. I think I really used to love going out, going to the place, because it forced me to go to the place. And I used to love the creative process of putting out a video. And I guess now that's worn off a little bit because I've done it so much. And I guess I'm not quite so turned on by going out to certain places. I don't do it so often now, but I wonder what other people's experiences like. Daz, what like you can you think what was it that motivated you in the first place, or when you were prolific, and how come you've pulled away from that?
I just looked at the likes, back in the day it was pretty much Thomas Heaton, Nigel Danson, that kind of thing, and it just looked really fun, kind of. I was already mucking around making a few videos, nothing for YouTube, but just for myself, and it just kind of, YouTube kind of came along, and I just thought, I wouldn't mind kind of giving that a go. And at the time, I really enjoyed making the videos. It wasn't a chore. I absolutely loved it. But then the photography become bigger than making the videos. And I realized, but I was happy just to keep on taking the videos without making the videos. I felt my photography improved once I stopped making the videos. and so for me, it was a no-brainer really, because I was never going to earn any money out of, kind of YouTube. I certainly wasn't going to get any fame out of YouTube. But I think it just goes to show, excluding Stu, because obviously that's just what he does for a living. But I've not put a video out in 2 years. Dave, obviously, for reasons he's mentioned, has not put a video out in 10 months. I think, Gary, you put more videos out probably than Sam and Jamie. But I think it's testimony, really, that even though we're not putting out videos like we used to, we're still doing the pubcast, which means that we're all still very much in love with photography. Because if we wasn't, if we was only making videos for money or ridiculous, when you want to call it YouTube fame, we wouldn't be talking about this now. We'd be chasing something else. So I think for us, we've still got the passion for photography, but perhaps just not the passion for making the videos.
Great point, Daz.
Thanks, mate.
Dave.
Seamless.
So yeah, I mean, we kind of covered that really, but there's definitely something going on. I don't know about you guys, but I'd be really interested if there's anyone out there who used to watch videos, say for instance, like from the viewing side, and then change their mind, or just over time have got like less interested in it and watched less. Why that is, and also if there's any of you guys out there who used to be like prolific video makers and now sort of make very few or no longer make videos, what your experiences are. Stick them down in the comments, and we'll probably discuss them when we come back.
Well, do you not just think that everything? Look, I spoke earlier about the motorhome. We had it for 11 years, and I honestly, I absolutely loved it. But it ran its course. We're now looking for new holidays, a new kind of chapter, if you like. So I think it's like anything really. It has its day, and the people that are perhaps still watching are just now watching the people that they genuinely like, rather than soaking up loads of different videos. They've just condensed it down to 1, 2, maybe half a dozen people that that generally inspires them, or they just like watching.
Yeah, and maybe it will come back around again. Maybe it will cycle back around again, and there'll be a huge influx of new photographers wanting to make it on YouTube or whatever. But
just on that point, there are still new photographers coming into YouTube. I think Dave mentioned this as well, or acknowledged something I said on the chat. There's a guy called Marius, somebody, I don't know his last name, Marius, I can't pronounce it. I think his channel's F8 and B there or something like that. Relatively new. He's still learning his trade in terms of videos and the rest of it, but his photography is superb. And he presents himself really well. And as you said, Daz, it's about whether they like the person and want to watch the person rather than necessarily the content. And he's got that personality about him that is very likable. He's very down to earth. He says it as it is. There's no airs and graces about it. And the benefit is his photography is bloody good. So, it's definitely worth watching. And, people like that still come along every now and again, and good luck to them. And that's a good platform for him to show his stuff off, and it's worth seeing.
So I know that I talk quite a lot, and I'll shut up in a second, but I thought we might be talking about vloggers actually, and I've actually got something like lined up. We don't have to do it now, but there's an Australian photographer that I follow, and his channel, it's almost like, even if you're not into photography, I think people would actually enjoy watching his channel because it's quite unique. It's kind of like the astrophotography, but he does like light painting. And his work at the end of it, his photo at the end of it, is almost kind of like art worthy. So even if you're not into photography, you're not into astrophotography, him and his channel is just so interesting. And I think people like that will continue because they don't always have to be focused on photographers. It might just be someone that's just kind of interested in watching a personality like that. So
what would be a brilliant idea now if we just never said who it was?
Well, I can show you if you want. It's up to you.
Just give us his name and we'll stick a link below. Because
his name it's Nightscape Images. That's the channel, but the guy's name is Richard.
I've chatted with Richard before. He's a really nice guy.
Really, honestly, so good. But yeah, it's so I can either show you the video or do it next time, or just go to Nightscape Images on YouTube.
Oh yeah, well I'll tell you what, we might drop that in because we'll put that in now, but we might do a longer feature on that in the next episode because we are going to start doing that. And I know we're going to talk about Marius, aren't we, at some point?
Yeah.
Have you seen him as well?
Yeah, I've watched a couple of his. Darren's absolutely right. He's really interesting.
He's good. Yeah, just take some nice images. I was buying that Viltrox lens that I took to Leforton for the Astro. I'm sure he did a review on it, and I'm sure I watched one of his reviews on that lens before I bought it. So
he has done a review on that because it didn't register with me until I saw yours, and then I put two and two together. Actually, so
it does some nice stuff.
Okay, so while we're talking about photographers and photos and our recommendations, why don't we go to a little part where we're going to share some of our images from the last sort of few months. I'm just going to say I've got nothing, so I'm going to leave this out open to you guys to do because I've taken so few that I'm not going to put anything on. But let's start with Dave. Have you got any, Dave, that you want to share?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, I like that.
So this is the reason I got half a dozen is because one of the spin-offs of not doing videos and being quite limited with my photography, because I was walking the dog every morning, I was out at sunrise literally every single day for about 3 or 4 months. And I saw some amazing light, and I always had my camera. So I wasn't there with a tripod and taking my time over it. It was just reacting to what I saw. So that's on the dunes at Aberfrow as the sun's just getting up over the hill.
Very nice.
This was down at Newborough. So that's Newborough Warren with the sun just coming up over the Carnethi. And it was really misty. Challenging, that one. Bit of dynamic range to deal with and had to be careful about lens flare. But that's
like
one of my favorites.
It could be in America or somewhere.
Yeah, it looks like a bit the far west, doesn't it? Hope to see a bit more of that sort of thing shortly. Dog on a beach. Quite a few of mine featured Winnie, but I actually quite liked having her in the shot every now and then because there she doesn't interact with that bit of reflected water just above her head. If she was breaking that, I wouldn't have kept her in it, but she was in the right spot.
Nice.
And then this is pretty standard summer weather around here. So this was, I think, early July, something like that. But I like the colours on that one. And then this is the only time I've gone out and put the tripod up and made a photograph. So I shot the foreground about half an hour before I shot the midground, and then another 15 minutes before I shot the sun, and then put them all together. But I was sat in the front garden drinking a beer, and those clouds were happening, and I thought, I've got to go and make this photo, take advantage of it. So that's the only time I've gone out with a tripod, about 200 meters from my front door. And then lastly, this one, which I shot last Saturday morning.
I really like that.
And it was just that it all kind of came together. The direction of the river has completely changed. And that sky was worth incorporating. So I thought, okay, I'll have that. So that's me.
This is the one. This is the photo I was going to say to you about. If you hadn't put it up there, this is a couple of days ago, isn't it? Recently,
it was last Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah. I just love those clouds. Those clouds are fantastic, and they sort of kind of the way they work with the rest of the image. It's good, really good.
I think the colours as well. The colours work well together. Everything about that. Yeah, love that, Dave.
Cheers.
Yeah, I do. Really like that. Really well composed.
Right, I'll unshare.
Jamie, let's have a look at yours.
Yeah, so I think I said earlier on, I've only really been out twice properly with the camera since we packed up, and funnily enough, I've never once been happy with a bluebell shot that I ever took, and I always wanted to get a reasonable bluebell shot that I was happy with, and I managed to get one of those lucky mornings where bluebells were out and we had a bit of mist and fog, and there was some nice straight beech trees just down the road from where I live. So nice components that came together, and yeah, I was quite happy to get this shot, and I think it was one that I think in my mind I was thinking, yeah, I've not got a shot like that. I'd like to just get one, and the fact that literally it was just down the road from me made it even easier to get. But then later in the morning, when the light came out, I actually felt more comfortable taking shots that gave me a little bit more pleasure in terms of enjoying the light more, because it was nice to get the bluebells, but there wasn't a lot of atmosphere going on apart from the bit of mist. But getting some fog and the light hitting the fog, I thought that was quite nice, and we still got the bluebell colour. But my favourite that morning, funnily enough, was actually this one, because it was a lot simpler image. It was more quiet. I love the dappled light where it's hitting the trees. It's still got the bluebells on the floor, and it just led you in. And these sort of scenes I really like. There's a lot going on, but things that hang together in a woodland and connect, for me, work. And the dappled light was something that just really sort of made me think, yeah, this is a scene that I think will work. And funny enough, out of the three, although I like the bluebell one, this is probably one of my favourites.
I really like that one. You know why? Because I think that a lot of people have this tendency with bluebells just to splatter like bluebells all across the lower third. Do you know what I mean? I'm taking a bluebell shot, therefore there must be as many bluebells as possible in the shot. But that's quite subtle, isn't it? Like they're there and but they're not overpowering the scene. It's really nice.
Yeah, and exactly. As I say, it wasn't anything that I was expected to get, but I just liked it. And then the only one that I've got in the summer that I took was this one, which was in West Norfolk, other side of King's Lynn. This is Borsey Church ruins. I wanted to get the old wide angle out and start playing with the foreground, because I don't really do that. Unfortunately, I didn't get the light, so I didn't really get what I set out to do. But the clouds were playing ball, added a bit of drama in the sky, a bit of light patches coming in above the church, the nice low angle. I stood and waited for nearly 3 hours for something to happen with the light, but it never did. So I just ended up grabbing this shot, and it was all right. As I say, it was worth the trip. At least I got one that I managed to edit and was reasonably happy with. So
that's nice.
Yeah, that was my lot.
Yeah, nice stuff, mate. Very nice
set.
Yeah, it was nice.
Stuart, what have you got for us?
Yeah, I mean, I've not shot anything this summer, sort of spring summer period to write home about, but I mean, this sort of shot typifies the sort of conditions. Really, it's especially in the lakes, which is really unusual. It's been extremely dry, not many days where it's been sort of changeable and whatnot. But this was on a video I did earlier in the summer, up Castle Crag, just because it's one that I haven't shot for quite a few years, and I needed a shot of this place for the gallery, so I kind of went up there specifically to get that for the shot more than anything else. But it was a nice morning. Clouds didn't really do anything, but I wasn't really there for that shot anyway. I just wanted something with some nice sort of direct light on the trees and whatever. So,
nice.
It's nice enough. This is a view that, obviously everyone will be familiar with. This was actually taken on a workshop with a lovely chap called Andy, who's been with me 2 or 3 times now. He'd probably be watching this, actually.
Hello, Andy.
Hello, Andy.
He specifically wanted to come down and get this sort of shot of Buttermere, and it's really good at sunrise in the summer months, because obviously you get that really nice backlight of the trees first thing. Whereas if you do this in winter, the sun's coming up pretty much straight in front of you, so it's a little harder to shoot. But yeah, nice pano of Buttermere, and it works for the shop as well.
It's that light coming in from the left. It's that light that's coming in from the left there on that makes that image, isn't it?
You've got to do this shot really in the spring summer months, because that sun coming up from the left, it's much easier to shoot. You do it in winter and it doesn't work as well. But this one actually I shot the other night. This was also out with a client. I don't make a habit of taking shots on workshops, I should stress, but we were just sort of waiting around for this sky to light up. It didn't really catch as we thought it might. But the sort of tones just around right at sunset here were actually quite nice. So it was worth grabbing one. Quite like the sort of subtle blues in that.
Nice.
That's a recent one. The image probably looks a bit iffy on here because it's a JPEG. I've left the TIFF file at the gallery on the computer there, but that's the other night from Wallercrag. As I was saying, the header's like it's been patchy. Do you know what I mean? You get little patches of it that are nice, and then other bits that are really quite dead. So it's been a bit of a funny summer for that. And again, that was another night where like the sky threatened to do something, and then the clouds, of course, cleared right at sunset. So there you go. And this last one, this is one that I've actually been trying to get for a while. This is one from about a couple of months ago now, up Langstrath. This waterfall works really well when there's a bit of mood and atmosphere going on, and you've obviously got to wait for the waterfall to be in spate.
Is that one you did on a video?
Yeah, I did it. I think it was about 6-7 weeks ago now, something like that.
I'm sure I recall it on a video. Nice shot.
Yeah, it's nice enough. It's one of those that it's not going to win any awards or anything, but it does serve a purpose for the shop because there's not many sort of photogenic spots around that valley, but this particular area is one of them. So wanted to get a shot for the shop.
Nice that the clouds played ball with that little gap there for you.
I kind of waited for that little bit where the brighter part was over the tree. It took a little bit of sort of waiting around, but got there in the end.
Great.
Very nice. Daz, what have you got?
Well, unfortunately, I can't compete with those guys because, as I say, I've not really been out with the camera. I can't share my screen. Open up. Everyone else has had no problems, have they? Open up. No. Because I've got a new computer, haven't I? Well, I'll tell you what. I'll just share them. I'll open it up at my end. I'll talk through them. You can't.
Okay, we'll just go. Okay, yeah, go on then. You open them up at your end.
Right. Okay. So
just tell us when you want to go. Ooh.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, that's it.
Oh, look at the size of that.
Yeah.
So obviously, the guys at the Pubcast can't see my images because I've got a new computer and I've not updated the settings. But so basically, the only images that I've taken have been on this particular hike up to Helvellyn.
Looks a lovely hike.
Do you like it? Do you?
Yeah. Okay,
well, I've got a story at the end that I kind of will share with you, but pretty much most of the hike going up, we was in thick cloud. And this image that none of you can see unless you're watching the video, the weather literally just broke.
Yeah, you can tell.
This one and this image that I'm sharing now. I don't know what you think of that, guys. What do you think?
That's amazing. Wow. Did you think about cropping the tree out on the right-hand side?
Well, I did crop the tree out, as you can see if you're studying the photo.
There's no tree there, is there?
There's no tree there, Gal. Yeah. So,
well done.
So, and this photo here, as you can thank you, we'd actually kind of finished, and as I stood up right behind me, the sunlight was kind of making a little bit of an appearance.
Yeah, you can see that.
So it was just a handheld shot, which I thought was, worth taking.
Yeah. That's gorgeous.
And this particular shot here was this particular shot here was actually the weather did break after about 4 hours. This was overlooking Striding Edge. We sat here for a little while. But this shot that I'm going to show you is a typical shot of what me and my son had for pretty much 3 or 4 hours, where we couldn't see anything. So, but Jack took the
That's all I can see is a white screen.
Well, but Jack took the opportunity there to kind of watch I was hoping the weather would break, but he caught up on a bit of Formula One practicing, I think.
I thought that was that.
But I'm back. I'm back with you guys now. So I've stopped sharing, right? So, but what was funny? Let me just tell you this story. So it was a beautiful hike. So it was about 12 miles. We set off at 5 o'clock in the morning. By the end of it, we was exhausted, right? So we'd now finished 5 Wainwrights. We was coming down. We didn't go up Striding Edge. We didn't come down Striding Edge. But the path that we ended up on to go down was the path that takes you up to Striding Edge. Then there was this stag party coming up, right? Because first of all, I just thought, what are they wearing? I thought, but it was really quite nice, actually. They all had like flat caps on. They all had waistcoats on. One was carrying like an old-fashioned rope. They was all wearing like tweed trousers. It was really quite nice.
It's like going out with James Burns.
Do you know what I did actually? I said to my boy, right? I said, because they was in the distance, and I thought, is there a load of posh kids coming up here or blokes from Yorkshire? Because I can't work out what I'm actually looking at. Turned out to be this stag party. Anyway, there was 3 groups. There was the group at the front, right, that still had like plenty of energy, but they'd only walked 2.5, 3 miles, and they'd not even got to the steep section, let alone Striding Edge. So we passed them, got to the next group, who was, kind of not too bad, still a little bit buoyant, a little bit of a spring in their step. And then we passed them and we got to the last group, the group that were flagging. Now, the one right at the back, he had his shirt open, right, down to his navel, massive belly kind of hanging out, right? Didn't even talk, right? You could tell that he was bollocksed, right? He didn't want to be there. But the penultimate one, as we walked by it, I said, "You all right, gents?" And he just went, he said, "Mate, I've had better days," right? So anyway, and then he walked by, and then about a minute, perhaps 2 minutes afterwards from the distance, I just heard him bellow out, "This is the worst day of my effing life." And it just really, but you could tell that he really meant it, really, really meant it. And I just thought, mate, you've still got about another 2 miles to go and you've got to get over Striding Edge. I was thinking there's no way you're going to do it. So whether they've done it or not, I have never, I don't know. So, but yeah, that's my photos and my story.
They were amazing photos. I think we can all agree, can't we, that we really enjoyed seeing them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Sam, have you got any that we can actually see? Or
hopefully. Hang on, let me. Oh, hang on.
The trouble is, I'm going to have to bloody watch this back now to see those pictures, aren't I? I don't know.
That's why I did it. I thought, well, we get 5 extra views now.
Good thinking.
Yeah, so, I feel a bit bad because everyone else has lined up multiple photos and I'd only prepared one. But yeah, I'd say this is probably my favourite image, which I took on my trip to Harris back at Easter. And I guess it's a fairly kind of standard shot for that part of Scotland, really. But it was just nice. I always love doing seascape photography, and it's something which I don't do enough of. I think immediately around my house, where I live, there aren't really that many locations to do seascapes, so you have to travel a little bit. So when I go somewhere like Harris, I'm kind of just in my element because it's one of the sort of forms of landscape photography that I think I enjoy doing the most. It's dynamic, everything's changing all the time. It's usually quite exciting. And this day actually was a good example of trying to sort of battle with elements a little bit because it was wet and the forecast was for it just to be tipping down with rain all day. And Hannah was with me, just standing to the right of me when I was taking this shot. And this is one of the ones where you're waiting for the right waves to come in. You're waiting to catch that water in the foreground in the right shape. So when I'm doing that kind of thing, I can be there a little while. And she was there she couldn't really see the shot until I showed her it on the back of the camera. So she was there sort of wondering what I was doing, standing in the rain for so long, taking shot after shot of this fairly nondescript group of rocks at the end of the beach. And it wasn't until I showed her the shot on the back of a camera where she was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, now I get it. Now I can see what you're doing." But it was one of those instances of having the shower cap over the end of the lens, wiping the lens between shots, waiting for the wave to come in, trying not to let the tripod move as it was sinking into the sand. But I really like this image. I like it because I had some images from this trip where we had blazing red sunsets. So the night before we had blazing red sunsets, and I'm increasingly finding that although those are great to see, I'm much more drawn to grey, moody skies and a little bit of bad weather. So yeah. And that's the only one which I've prepped, so I won't share any others.
No, it's lovely, really nice. And as I said, I don't have any to show you, but I will share a couple of comments from my latest video or my video before where I did share some pictures. One guy said his name's Darren Albee Photography. I hope you're watching. Your issues have nothing to do with your camera system, which I thought was a nice comment. And then his friend,
your issues,
who said, "Be like Isaiah," says, "I agree, lol, no shade." But I don't know what no shade. I don't know if he's talking about I don't know.
No
could
offense.
be some kind of link, yeah. But the over sharpening, no offense. This means no offense. Fucking hell. Okay, I agree, lol, no offense. But the over sharpening and compositions had me seriously confused. I think a Nokia could take those. So
no offense though.
So yeah, no offense.
No shade taken.
And then the one underneath, which is probably my favourite comment, went, "Nice drone shots." So the rest of it was so bad that they concentrated on the 5 seconds of drone shots that I took. So thank you all for those. That was very kind, but that's probably about the level of my photography right now. So you could take the shot on a Nokia, apparently. No offense. Yeah, so there you go. Happy days. So thanks for that. I would have to say that out of all of those, my favourite was Daz's third image, which I thought was
there you go. So
really outstanding. Yeah. Really outstanding.
I appreciate that, Gal. You've obviously got an eye for detail.
I do have an eye for detail, but I still would have cropped that tree out. Maybe left the unicorn a little further to the right. Anyway, we were going to move on, but we're an hour and 24 minutes in, so I think maybe we should save this last one for our new season, the medium format conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, good idea.
I think so. There's a couple of things before we go. We are definitely we're going to do the competition again this year, aren't we?
Yes.
The photo competition.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
So please, don't send them in yet, but have them ready for when we announce that. And I think we'll probably do some categories perhaps this year.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Rather than just the one, we'll do some categories, which will.
Are we doing rubbish dumps for Jamie?
Yes, we're going to do.
Oh, I do like your rubbish.
If you've got any pictures of any fly tipping, Jamie's your guy. Feel free to send those to him.
They call me.
He loves that sort of thing. And anything oversaturated or where the horizon's slightly off, send those in to me because apparently I love those. So.
And make sure they're fully sharpened.
Yes, fully sharpened.
Fully sharpened.
Yes.
Get those halos working.
Yes, exactly. And if they're taking on a Nokia, if they're taking on a Nokia, even better. But yeah, no, we will have some. I think we'll probably do 2 or 3 because Stu's got a book coming out. I mean, Stu, when's your book coming out, Stu?
It's been coming out for years.
I know.
Will it be out by Christmas? Will it be out
for
the main prize?
No. I'm hoping to get it on pre-order in the next week. So
brilliant. Yeah. So Stu's book will be one of the major prizes. Daz's third image is the second place prize, so that's got to be good. I'm sure we can find some other bits and pieces for you. I've got an old Nokia that I used to take photos on that you can have. So yeah, but we're doing that. And when are we back? We're back on the 14th of October. So that should be something to look at. Well, we're recording on the 14th of October, aren't we? So we're not back on the 14th of October. Second week,
middle of October, sometime.
Middle of October, yeah.
Well, if you're, I don't know, is subscribed? That's probably not the right word, but if you're a part of our Facebook group, then we'll announce it on there.
Actually,
if not, just keep watching every Sunday and every Wednesday religiously.
Yeah, just to see if we show up. I think we'll do a little selfie for the Facebook group, actually, to say that we're coming back, because that will get people excited. Right, you ready?
Do you reckon they'll be excited?
Right, everyone put your thumbs up. Oh, no, don't do thumbs up, because that...
Do we get the thing if we do that?
That might get confusing.
They'll think with someone else, that'll be copyrighted, won't it?
Yeah. I was trying to get the animation.
Yes, just... Oh, yes. Does that still work? Don't know. Big smile. Working. Brilliant. Okay, right, great. Okay, so we'll stick that on the Facebook page tonight, and that'll get people excited that there's going to be a video coming out. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Anyone else got anything else they want to add?
No, I'll announce my news on the next one when we're back.
Oh, you've got some news, haven't you? But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to save that. So tune in, episode 1 for Daz's news.
Breath. What can it be?
What can it be? Okay, anyway, thanks so much for watching. It's been great to see all you guys. So cheers for the chat, and we'll see you sometime in October. Goodbye.
Yep. See you guys. Bye-bye.
See you then.
Bye-bye.